Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode number 6 of Beer vs. Society. I'm your co-host, Sanger Saw, brought to you as always with my co-host, Jackson Gross. Jackson, it's Monday. How we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's was been a pretty chill weekend overall. Got to finish another Lego Star Wars set. I got one of those clone like walkers and stuff like that. So that was over
Nice.
1,000 pieces. It took me like 3 or 4 days to put together. So that was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, just been kind of a quiet weekend overall. Can't really think of much else I've really done. Just a whole lot of grinding. Obviously, wrote a couple articles for Third Down Thursday about Montez Sweat coming to the Bears and getting that massive extension. So make sure to go read that. Yeah, things are rolling good, and it has already been a very hot stove. But we'll get into that to a second. But how have you been, Si?
I have been quite busy. Wrote an article for Third on Thursday about Bradley basketball being the um dark horse in the Missouri Valley Conference. So go check that out if you're interested in some college basketball content. I saw Metallica over the weekend with my parents. It was a great show. I'm not like the hugest Metallica fan, but it was just super entertaining to watch them because they've been doing this forever, and they ended their set with Master of Puppets. That's my favorite song by then. So that was cool to see. Also grinding a lot. With my college student media team, I've been doing basically everything for them. So we're grinding, but it's Monday. The stove is scorching right now, guys. So I'm ready to talk some baseball.
Yeah. And quickly before we get into that, happy opening day of college basketball. Marquette is taking on NIU tonight, the reigning Big East regular season and tournament champs. Get ready to defend their title. It's going to be an awesome season. I'm really excited to finally watch a season as a fan, maybe have a few articles here and there, but it's going to be a good ride.
Since we're doing a little college basketball promo, Bradley, they're opening up their season tonight at UAB. Should be a really interesting season for them. They lost some key guys to transfer portal this year, but the team is deep. They're going to hopefully go back to back with the regular season title and hopefully go back to the big dance. So I'm just, as a pure fan base, as a pure fan, I guess to just watch and also occasionally just write a couple articles about them. It'll be nice. It'll be nice to see.
Yeah, and I'll be rooting for my guy Marion Ellis down there with you guys at Bradley. So
Oh
I'll be
yeah,
excited to see that. But
he's
let's
gonna
move
be
on.
key contributor off the bench.
Yeah, let's move on. We got a lot of stuff to get to. It's gonna be a
Oh
jam-packed
my!
episode today, and we got quite a few presents early today. Let's start with the first one that we got. Former All-Star catcher Stephen Vogt, a year after retiring from the game of baseball, is replacing Mr. Terry Francona out in Cleveland. He'll be the new manager of the Guardians. Wow, I mean, like off the rip, I was not expecting to get this much news today. Let's start with this first piece here. Just give me your initial reactions to Stephen Vogt as the new manager of the Guardians.
I love it. I love it. This is honestly probably one of, if not the best fit for that Guardians team. Vogt is a great clubhouse personality. His energy, his passion he brings to the game, it's truly one of a kind. He has tons of baseball knowledge as he's a former catcher. He's been around the league. He knows his stuff. He was with the Mariners last year as I'm pretty sure it was a bullpen coach. So he got his taste of like coaching experience in the big leagues. He was with a somewhat successful team in the Mariners, and he's taking over an interesting team with the Guardians. They have their star player in Jose Ramirez. They have their guys like Andres Menace, the Naylor brothers. They still have the great pitching staff of Bieber and McKenzie and Tanner Bybee. So it's going to be interesting to see what him and his front office now do with that team because the AL Central is super weak. If the
Mm-hmm.
Guardians make a couple key moves, and if they bring in a couple more bats and get rid of some of that surplus they have pitching wise, wouldn't mind if they sent Bieber over to the Cardinals if we're being honest. But it'll be I think he's a great fit. I think he's going to make this Guardians team just very fun-loving and energetic, but he'll get the job done. There will likely be some growing pains because when there are new managers in the league, like rookie managers, we'll call them that, there's always growing pains in that first season. This going from a Hall of Fame manager from Terry California to a brand new guy like Steve Vogt, there will be growing pains. However, Guardians fans, you got a good guy. You have someone who's very passionate
Mhm.
about the game, who very much cares about his team and success and winning. They're good. It is a fantastic move.
Yep. I'd love to keep talking about Stephen Vogt, but we just got breaking news from Ken Rosenthal. Craig Counsell will not manage the Brewers or the Mets this year. That just came through literally about 30 seconds ago while we were still talking about Stephen Vogt. Yeah,
What?
this is from Ken Rosenthal. Craig Counsell will manage next season, but not with the Brewers or Mets. He's heading to a team with an existing manager. Mets, we'll get to it in a second, have hired Carlos Mendoza as their next manager. Breaking news, big news out of the NL Central with Craig Counsell moving on from Milwaukee. He will not be heading to the Mets either. Obviously, the Guardians were also rumored, but obviously they hired Stephen Vogt. Wow, wow, wow.
I'm flabbergasted. I'm actually flabbergasted because I was saying last week, I was like, I can see Craig Counsell moving off, spoiling this down the line. But they got rid of Mark Hanna a couple days ago, traded to Tigers for nothing. And as soon as I saw
Yeah,
that trade come
relief
in,
pitcher.
some minor leaguer. But as soon as I
Yeah.
saw the move come in, I was in the car with my dad. I told him about it, and I was like, Brewers are about to tear it all down. This is the first of many moves. Council's not going to come back. Just watch. My dad thought I was crazy. And now here we are. Council's not coming back to the Brewers. The Brewers are pulling a I hate to do it to you, but the Brewers are pulling a 2016 Cubs right now, and they're just tearing apart the roster. They don't want to be they have their bit of success, and now they're like, screw it. They see that the Cubs are staying competitive, getting better. The Reds are probably going to take the division next year. Let's keep it honest. The Cardinals are going to hopefully go out and get some pitching, and they're going to be competing next year. The Brewers are waving the white flag. They're getting out of there, and I just think that's wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. That's
Yeah.
that's speechless, speechless.
That's a massive, massive blow for the Brewers. Craig Counsell has always been one of like the most underrated managers in the game of baseball. He should have had a Manager of the Year award at some point,
But he didn't.
um, but he does not. But wow, I'm still trying to process. Like, it's gonna be weird. I'm not sure who they're gonna go with. They're potentially maybe gonna go with one of their bench coaches we looked at a couple of weeks ago. But massive news out of the NL Central. Just again, I think the Brewers are realizing that this roster is getting older and they're not necessarily in this competitive spot right now. Willie Adames, I believe, will be, especially now, he'll probably be traded. Corbin Burns is more likely to be
Oh,
traded.
Corbin Burns is 100% out of there. 100%.
So we'll see where he goes. Maybe he goes to Baltimore. I doubt he would go to St. Louis. I don't think the
I don't
Brewers
want
would
him in
make that
St.
type of
Louis. Let's be
in-division
honest.
trade. You don't
Let's
want
be
Corbin
honest.
Burns?
I don't care how good he is. He's a Brewer. I don't like the
Oh
Brewers.
my God.
I'd rather have
I
somebody
was
like
more than happy to take John Lackey and Jason Hayward from the Cardinals. I was
yeah.
more than happy to do
No, thank you. No, thank you.
that.
I would like him to get out of the National League and to any American League teams. I think his competitive energy in Baltimore, pairing him up with Grayson Rodriguez, Kyle Bradish, all their young studs, I think that would be pretty big. And the Orioles have the talent to pull themselves a Corbin Burns. So I want to see that happen.
So in the report, they said that Craig Counsell is going to go to a team that currently has a manager. What team do we think is going to fire their man? This is kind of weird. I've never seen a report like this where they're like, yeah, he's going to take somebody else's job at some point when he gets hired. Like, I'm really
already has a manager.
Yes. So he's not going to San Diego because they just lost Bob Melvin.
Mm-hmm. He's not going to Houston.
So let's go division by division and see what teams he would or wouldn't go to. I think David Bell in Cincinnati is safe. I always forget the manager of the Pirates. I can't remember his name.
Derek Shelton.
Derek Shelton. Thank you. He's probably safe.
I don't know why I know that, but I do. But I think Shelton is safe for at least one more season.
I think,
and it's also interdivisional. I don't see that happening.
I think David Ross is probably safe for another year. It depends on what they do in the offseason. We don't know how long this is going to take for Craig Counsell to become a manager for whatever team they're thinking of. Maybe Oli Marmol's out and Craig Counsell manages the Cardinals. That's at least you got basically like 1.5 teams in the NL Central he would manage. It would either be the Cubs or the Cardinals.
No. I wouldn't say no. I just interdivisional, and that's where it gets a little.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So he's not going to the Mets. He's not going to go to the Braves. He's not going to go to the Phillies. He's not going to go to the Marlins. And
they just brought in Skip.
All right, and then he's probably not going to go to Washington. He wants somewhere he can probably compete.
And I'm pretty sure the Nationals over this season just signed Davey Martinez to a new contract. I think he's there for at least 2-3 more seasons. So that's not going to happen. No NL East.
So the NL West, I don't think he's going to go to the Rockies.
No, Bud Black is safe.
I don't think he's going to replace Dave Roberts with the Dodgers. The Giants just got Bob Melvin. Mm-hmm. Maybe he does go to San Diego because but it says currently with a manager. So I don't know how that would work.
That's why it's like Sandy. If with how the tweet is worded, that's why it's like interesting.
Yeah,
because if we're being honest, I think San Diego is probably number one because they need somebody. However, that front office is in shambles right now.
Right, and then. So who's that other team in that division? We got the Padres, Dodgers. Yeah, and they're not taking up
Tony Lovetto is very much safe.
Yes. Okay. So the American League. Do we think he goes to Tampa Bay?
No.
Okay. I was just because of the recent playoff failures. I thought maybe that could be an option.
Kevin Cash has at least one more season, and they just brought.
Okay.
No, they didn't bring in a gym. No, Kevin Cash is safe. It's not Tampa Bay.
I doubt it's Boston. I don't think he's going to go to Boston.
See, that's where I disagree.
Okay.
With how Boston has been performing the past couple of seasons, yes, Alex Cora. They think they still have Alex Cora. He's a good manager. He knows his stuff. He knows what he's doing. However, it would be out of the blue if they brought in Counsell to replace Alex Cora, but I wouldn't. That's like my dark horse right now.
Especially with the new GM.
Especially with the new GM, they're thinking fresh start. Counsell has had previous success. They bring in. This would be hilarious, but just hear me out. Mm-hmm. They bring in Craig Counsell, and Alex Cora goes to Houston.
Oh. That would be interesting.
But just that's my dark horse.
Okay. Maybe he goes to Toronto. Maybe they're not convinced on Derek Schneider. There's been tension between the front office and him. Maybe he replaces Aaron Boone with the Yankees.
Please, that would be hilarious.
That would certainly be.
They lose their bench coach and their GM and their actual coach in one day. That'd be the most that's the Yankee way.
And then I don't think who's the other team. And Baltimore's not replacing Brandon Hyde.
No.
And then AL Central, the White Sox already picked. They have Pedro Giffel already.
Yep.
Then obviously the Guardians just got Stephen Vogt. I don't think the Twins are going to replace their manager. They just won a division and their first playoff series.
Yeah, safe.
He's not going to go to Kansas City. They're in a deep rebuild right now. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the A's out west.
Tiger, and he's not replacing. What's his face?
Hold on.
Who's the Tigers manager? I'm losing. I know who the Tigers manager is.
AJ Hinch.
It's AJ Hinch. AJ Hinch is in Detroit, and by the move that they just made, picking up Canada as like a secure outfield spot, I think the Tigers are going to try to tool up and see if they can make a run in the Central. Which,
yeah, they were around 500 this year.
They are a very solid team. As a kind of now newfound Tigers fans, I don't know. The team's interesting. The team is talented. Torkelson has learned that he can hit 30 home runs a year, and their pitching staff is really good. So,
yeah. And then we talk existing manager. So it's not the Angels. It's not going to be the A's.
No.
It's not going to be the Astros or Rangers.
No.
And I don't think maybe Seattle. It's just tough because does he stay in the Midwest? Because I think he was a Midwest guy. He grew up a Brewers fan.
Mm-hmm.
So does he go out west? Because the only reason he was thinking about the Mets job was because some of the people in the Brewers front office are now with the Mets, I believe. So that was the only reason for that. So it's going to be interesting. I feel bad we kind of hijacked the Stephen Vogt stuff, but
I think Scott Servais in Seattle is safe because he's got an above 500 record as a manager. It's not pretty. And it's 616 and 578, and he's got a good roster. He knows how to manage the team. So if we look past the whole existing manager, he's replacing a current manager. He's going to either San Diego or LA. Makes the most sense. But if we look at this existing manager, I think it's Boston. I think Cora's out of there because they can completely revamp, fresh starts, try to attack the Central. I mean, East. Thinking the wrong division.
Yeah.
Outside of Boston, I wouldn't sleep on Toronto. With their playoff history recently, and it's not pretty there. Then they have a good team. Ish.
Yeah.
Maybe Seattle, but I feel like that's a long shot. And there's not any notable NL teams that I can see him going for. So who knows? We just have to wait and see.
Yeah. So apparently his decision was supposed to come out today. I'm assuming it's the fact that he won't be coaching or managing the Brewers or the Mets. Maybe we'll get at some point later this afternoon a definitive, this team is firing this guy and hiring Craig Counsell. But we'll just have to wait and see. Is there anything you wanted to say about Stephen Vogt before we move on to the Mets' new manager? Okay.
I said what I wanted to say.
All right. So now, moving on.
I think Vogt's going to be great.
Yes. Moving on. Carlos Mendoza is now the manager of the New York Mets. For those who aren't familiar with Mr. Mendoza, he's been the bench coach for the Yankees for the past 4 or 5 years, I believe, and has been a coach with the Yankees for the past 15 years. This is interesting. I'm not super familiar with Carlos Mendoza outside of that, but I think it'll be interesting. I think the Mets needed someone a little bit younger than Buck Showalter. just to breathe some new energy. I think we're seeing a big trend across baseball that you just need younger managers who can connect with this new generation of players. And I think Carlos
Breaking
Mendoza.
What the? Cubs are hiring Craig
The Cubs have
Counsell.
hired Craig Counsell. The Cubs have hired Craig Counsell. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. The Cubs have hired Craig Counsell to be their next manager. David Ross is out.
No way.
Oh my God.
No way.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't think. I can't think. What?
No, I thought I could escape Counsell, man. I thought I could.
Yes.
That's such a good pickup. That's such a good
World
pickup.
Series 2024.
All right, chill now.
We're Bellinger, Blake Snell, Soto, Alonso. Come on down. Yo. This is being a clip. This is going to be a clip. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm putting this in all caps. Hold on.
Wow. I'm already there. Jack.
Oh my God.
No way.
I'm putting this on.
No way. This is hilarious.
Yo.
No way. No way. There's no way. Why?
Yep, and this is
why the Cubs?
This is the ultimate, like, if things, I don't know what happened between like the Brewers and Craig Counsell, but this is like the biggest FU to the Brewers I can absolutely think of.
Oh my goodness. That's
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What?
Oh my
What?
God.
What? I don't even know what I want to say. I don't even know what I want to say.
This is the type of move. This is a great start. This is the type of move to show your team and your fan base we're ready. I just think you hire a manager of this
Don't
caliber.
bring back Cody Bellinger. This is not going to be what the.
This is if we don't bring back Cody Bellinger, then this is a failure. But what a start to the offseason.
So where's David Ross gonna go? David Ross to San Diego? David Ross? No, it's not going to LA.
San Diego? Maybe he follows the Joe Madden cosplay and goes to the Angels.
That would be hilarious, and I'd also just L Cubs. But that's
wow. Yeah, this is Jeff Passan. Cubs are hiring Craig Counsell as their manager. A blockbuster move for Chicago, which had David Ross as their manager, but will now go with Counsell, who spent the previous decade with division rival Milwaukee.
He ain't going very far, at least.
Oh my gosh. And I just saw this was from today at 12:13 from Bob Nightingale. Craig Counsell is expected to decide today whether he will stay with Milwaukee or go to New York. Bob strikes again.
Bob's working that voodoo magic.
Oh my God.
My heart is like racing. I'm not even a Cubs fan, and I'm like, what the
Oh my gosh.
I'm so happy I have Twitter notifications on. I also have Twitter up on my laptop right now.
Yeah, I have it on for mine too. Oh my God.
Good.
Oh my God. Okay.
Breathe. We still have a show to do.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. We will come back to this at some point. Once the press conference happens, I'll probably end up writing an article in the next couple of days for Third Down Thursday.
Shake up in Wrigleyville.
Oh!
That's just
oh my God. Okay. All right. Well, we'll be coming back to this for sure. We'll have to try and see poke some prods and see if we can find anyone from the Cubs organization to give comments or something. All right.
Okay.
The stove is on fire, but we have to recognize that we have a new world champion, the Texas Rangers, the first time in franchise history, over 50 years in Texas, 62 years as a franchise when they started out as the Washington Senators. But before we even get to that, we got our guy Bruce.
Dude, I knew you guys were on right now, and I just saw the news. I had to jump on. First of all, hello. How are you both? This is huge news right now.
We're doing great.
This is huge news. The fact that the Chicago Cubs decided to say bye-bye to David Ross and to grab Counsell, that's huge. Counsell's a great manager. I'm actually pretty pumped. And anytime you can get there was some White Sox speculation with Counsell too. But anytime you get this is big. It tells you that the Cubs are going to try to go for it, I think.
They have to.
The rebuild is real, boys. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I got to get back to work. But, hey, great show so far, guys. This is awesome. It's nice to be talking about something other than the craptacular Chicago Bears, guys. All right, let's go, Cubs. Go Cubs, go.
Go Cardinals, baby.
Thank you, Bruce. I'll talk to you soon.
Later, guys.
Oh my gosh! Shout out to our guy Bruce for popping on.
Oh yeah.
But oh my gosh! All right, getting back to what we were originally talking about. Yes, Texas Rangers win the World Series. They won it in 5 games. Paul Sewald blew another save opportunity. I think they were already down like 1 or 2-0, and then they get an extra base hit, and then Marcus Semien hits a home run, and it was over.
So this is what I'm going to say. Yes, Paul Sewald is to blame, but Alec Thomas had his Trent Grisham moments, and you can't look past that. They were still in it. They had a chance. That happened. That was the nail in the coffin. That was the dagger. But congrats to Texas, man. Congratulations to Jordan Montgomery getting that World Series ring. Now he's gonna go get a bag. Congrats to former Cardinal Dolis Garcia. It's really sad he didn't get to play in the last 2 games, but
yes,
he turned Travis Jankowski into a folktale now. So that wasn't on my bingo card, but that's awesome. And Diamondbacks are gonna go out. They're gonna make a few moves, and they're gonna contend next year. They did what the Orioles wish they could have done, and they really jump started that rebuild, and they skipped a couple years, and now it's I don't even know. I'm still flabbergasted by the Counsell news.
Again, shout out to the Diamondbacks. I wish that could have been the Cubs if that series in Arizona had gone differently near the end of the year, but Arizona had a fantastic season. You cannot fault them at all for what they went through this year. Had an amazing start to the season, a rough middle patch, and then were able to turn it around, make the playoffs. They take down the Brewers on the road, and now the fact that that's the last game that Craig Counsell will manage as the Brewers is another wild card loss to a team that ended up making the World Series is hilarious. And then you go out, you take out the Phillies in the NLCS, you take out your division rival Dodgers in the NLDS. Like, there's no fault at all for what the Diamondbacks did this year. So shout out to them. I wanted to get to a guy who made some history in this World Series, and that's Mr. Corey Seager. He became, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd player to win a World Series MVP with 2 teams in 2 different leagues, or at least 2 World Series MVPs with 2 different teams. The only other guy that able to do that was Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, when he won a World Series MVP with the A's and then with the Yankees. The question I wanted to ask. What's up?
Continue. I was
I was just gonna.
I didn't know the A's could win games like that. But then again, this was like 30 years ago, so I guess it makes sense. That's all.
Anyway, yeah, that's for you, MJ. So shout out to you. My question is Corey Seager a Hall of Famer, or can he be a Hall of Famer at this point?
I think I had the most perfect answer probably give. He's in the Hall of Very Good right now. He's not a Hall of Famer yet. These next 2 years these next 2 years are going to be crucial to what he can do. And it'll be interesting to see what other hardware he can pick up. Like another Silver Slugger would help him out. If he could manage to get a Gold Glove, that would help him out. If he could get a legit MVP, that would help him out. But right now, I would say he is comfortably in the middle row of the Hall of Very Good. These next couple years are going to be vital. If he shits the bed, he's going to stay in the Hall of Very Good. But you can look past those 2 World Series MVPs shows that he can perform in the clutch. It's what he now does in regular season. If he can keep stat padding, he can hopefully get a couple more awards to that couple more hardware to his trophy case. That'd be ideal. That's what I'm looking for if I were a Hall of Fame voter, writer, or Corey Seager himself. So,
yeah, I think
all very good.
Again, yeah, I think that's a good spot for him right now. I think Corey Seager's a very, very good player. He obviously needs to play out the rest of his career, but if he can stay healthy and get himself an MVP or 2, maybe another World Series MVP, or maybe just another World Series, I think he is. I think he is Hall of Fame bound at this point. And also, I just saw this, so I'll pull this up on Twitter in a second, but I'll throw this on the screen. Like, who are the biggest X factors for Texas in that clinching game for you?
Nathan Eovaldi.
Yep.
What he did, and to step up and be the ace of that team when DeGrom went down. Without Eovaldi, they would have not made it out of the wild card or division round. That was vital to them. Simeon being able to play in every single game without an off day is also very vital, because that's heart and soul right there. It's him and Seager, that middle infield, they heart and soul. That's really all I got. Their bullpen was rock solid, which is what they needed. Leclerc was prime Leclerc out of nowhere. So
right,
like they were firing on all cylinders without Adolis Garcia in the last 2 games. That's
crazy
big for the Rangers. That is big for the Rangers.
Yeah.
One man down, next man stepped up.
Yep. Shout out to Travis Jankowski. I saw a lot of stuff about him and what he was able to do and just kind of his story. So that was awesome for him to see. And that's kind of like when you have a really good roster, because Travis Jankowski, I think, could be a very, he's a lower end starter, but he's not terrible. If you threw him on a couple of the teams who were middle of the pack or really bad this year, he's a good contributor. And the fact that the Rangers have that off the bench is awesome. Before we move on, I wanted to show this. Let's see. Or hold on one second. There we go. Yeah, I just wanted to show our guy MJ in response to the Craig Counsell news. He said, in NFL terms, the Bears just hired Matt LaFleur. I think is the best comparison. Or if the Bears hired Vince Lombardi, not to the same extent necessarily, but in terms of how good these guys are. So all right. Well, we're going to have to take our first break of an already bananas 6th episode of Beer versus Ivy. Get some water, get whatever you need, and we'll be back from 30 seconds with a word from our sponsor.
Erie Insurance says here's to the grown-ups who move, mortgage, mow, and still bust a move. But does your home insurance still fit? Erie helps you protect the home you've grown into, all at fair prices that are often less than the other guys. So how do you find the right coverage? Magic. Nope. Local independent agents who get to know you like this.
Your local Erie agent is Building Block Insurance Group. Get a quote today at 704-464-4544.
Erie Insurance.
And when you contact our guy, Jeff Moore-Tepney at Building Block Insurance Group, make sure to tell him that Third Down Thursday sent you and that Cy and I are better at him at Call of Duty. Right, before we get into the rest of the show, I wanted to throw this up for you since even though there's more baseball, it's still time for one of my favorite segments, Cy's Underdogs. So, Cy, what do you got? It's Monday. What do you got for Monday Night Football for us?
All right. We gotta pull it up real quick because I already kind of forgot what I bet on. Do a lot, but it's Monday Night Football. We got Jets and Chargers, right?
Yes.
And we threw together a little 5-leg parlay, little $2 bet, degenerate bets. You know how we roll. We got Garrett Wilson higher than a rush or receiving touchdown. Yeah, it's wide receiver 1. Zach Wilson will be throwing the ball tonight, as frankly enough, the Chargers don't have the best DBs. They don't have that best defensive backs. So I see Zach Wilson. He's gonna be throwing the ball tonight. Garrett Wilson will find himself in the end zone one way or another. Austin Eckler higher than 47.5 rushing yards. That's easy. Eckler is a dog. He's healthy now, finally. So he's going to be running through that Jets defense, because also the Jets they're more offensive heavy. Defense, not as great. Justin Herbert, higher than 16.85 fantasy points. He's going to ball out. He's also, once again, now healthy. His non-throwing hand isn't bothering him no more. So he'll be probably throwing for 250 yards, a couple touchdowns tonight. Zach Wilson, he's going to be throwing the ball. Yes, Breece Hall will be in the system. He'll be getting plenty of touches, but Zach Wilson's going to have to throw tonight. He's going to have to trust his wide receivers and his tight ends in order to have success tonight. And then Keenan Allen it's going to be a difficult matchup because he's going to have Sauce Gardner on him tonight. But I see Keenan having the edge. I'm taking that over for 74.5 receiving yards. And if all this hits, I'll be making a nice $60 tonight.
Hey, there you go.
But I'm not going to lie to y'all. I've been very unlucky recently. I had 4 different legs in yesterday. Nothing hits. We've been unlucky recently. So I need some luck on my side. I bet decently well on football. But I always have that one leg that messes me up. I'm not gonna lie, the Keenan Allen leg I'm a little sketchy on. This is the only leg I could get that would work. I want to do a lot of other legs, but underdog is kind of weird and certain. You want to do certain things at the same time, they won't let you do it. But that's okay. Confident enough. It's gonna be a good game tonight, regardless. And yeah, I'm also might do a basketball bet later today because on opening day, on the NBA season, I want $30 on an easy 4-leg bet. So I might see how my luck's feeling. Probably not though. I'm just gonna stick with this. Let's ride.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll be a better primetime game than the Chargers' last primetime game where they destroyed the Bears 30-14. So let's hope for that.
Hopefully.
This is gonna be a lot of stuff we're gonna have to get through, but let's start. Last night, the Gold Glovers for each league were announced. We'll quickly start with the American League since we have a lot more to say about the National League, obviously. Let's take a look here at the American League winners. Lots of Texas Rangers on here. You got Jonah Heim, Nathaniel Lowe, and Adolis Garcia in there for the Rangers at catcher, first base, and right field. At second base, you have Andres Jimenez, who wasn't he traded to the Dodgers at the deadline? So I don't know how that works, or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
You were thinking of somebody else. And Ahmed Rosario got traded.
Ahmed
to
Rosario.
Packers.
Okay, never mind. Okay. Anyway, so yes, Andres Jimenez and Matt Chapman wins it for third base for the Blue Jays. For the first time since 2010, a Yankee shortstop has won a Gold Glove, and that was rookie Anthony Volpe. That probably shouldn't have happened, but
It should have been Bobby Witt.
yep.
But Bobby
and
Witt
then
wasn't even a finalist, so I mean, I'm cool with it. I like Volpe, so it's okay.
yeah, it's just annoying.
Better than
If he was playing for on any other team, like I would be okay with it. But the fact that it was the Yankees is what bothers me. Anyway, continuing, Stephen Kwan wins it for left field for the Guardians. Kevin Kiermaier, center, one of my favorite players, Kevin Kiermaier. He wins it for center field. Obviously, Adolis Garcia. Jose Barrios wins the Gold Glove for for pitcher. And then Mauricio Dubon wins it for utility spot. So I think overall, a good list. Obviously, Volpe is a little questionable, but I don't think I could really complain about that.
Yeah. Everything else is pretty right. This is probably my favorite pick out of all of them, the Dubon for utility. If you take a look at his numbers and like what he's done in like the 7 different positions he's played for the Astros, he was vital for the success they had. When that's crazy because when they brought in Dubon earlier in the offseason, I was like, this is questionable. Dubon's not that good. And then he come out and made some amazing plays in the infield. He made multiple diving plays in center field and right field. Like it was go Mauricio Dubon. That's case in point.
And Alex, I don't know what you're talking about. Like maybe it was the fact that like it was like another Yankee. If you're talking about Volpe, I'm not sure like what you're thinking I'm salty about. But anyway, let's go ahead. Let's move on to some of the more interesting ones, at least for us. And that was the National League Gold Glove winners. Obviously, we got Gabe Moreno and Christian Walker from the Diamondbacks at catcher and first base. We got Key Brian Hayes at third base. We got Fernando Tatis in his first season in right field as the winner. Brenton Doyle wins it in center field for the Rockies.
Put some respect on his name. Put some respect on his name.
And then we got Zach Wheeler winning it for the pitching spot. Ha-Sung Kim wins it for utility. And then you see it right there. The best middle infield in all of baseball, Nico Horner and Dansby Swanson win it for the Cubs, along with Mr. Ian Happ. All I have to say, totally deserved from these three guys. The Cubs probably would have lost a good 5 to 6 more games, especially without the middle infield of Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner. Nico's a really good shortstop, but Dansby is that next level of defensive shortstops. There's a reason he won the Gold Glove. And then Ian Happ, he has got so much better as a defender this year. He obviously had that big game against Milwaukee in the middle of July where he threw out 2 runners to help the Cubs win that game. So shout out to those 3 guys. I'm going to have to interrupt myself again because we just got the contract details for Craig Counsell.
I was about to do it.
It is a 5-year deal worth $40 million for Mr. Craig Counsell to lure him away from Milwaukee. He is the highest paid manager in baseball now.
It's going to be crazy when the highest paid manager doesn't change anything for the Cubs. It's going to be crazy when that happens. But I mean,
you don't know how bad David Ross is. Like I put out a tweet for those wondering, and I said like David Ross was a solid manager. He was probably closer to like below average. We talked about this like in our first episode that David Ross and Oli Marmol were like 2 of the worst managers in the NL Central. I think adding Craig Counsell adds like at least like 3 wins, if not more. I think that's a safe estimate, but
that's safe, but he's only going to win if his roster improves.
Yes, which we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Hopefully
but
hopefully
it doesn't.
I don't want it.
All right. I will give you the floor because I know you had an issue with the National League utility winner, Ha-Sung Kim. I think there's someone you're wearing his jersey and you are heavily campaigning for.
All right.
So I'll give you the
All
floor.
right. So first off, we're repping today. Free my boy Tommy Edman. He didn't do nothing wrong. Okay, so first things first, before mentioning on how good Tommy Edman is, because this is not the first time he has been finessed out of the Gold Glove Award. This is the first time since 2017 that St. Louis Cardinals have not had a Gold Glove winner, and that's a team who is notably known about how good our defense is, about how good gloves we have. It's ironic that as the team is bad, we don't get the love and recognition that we deserve. But Tommy Edman, he spent a lot of time at shortstop where he is a very much above average infielder. He's Dansby Swanson level, if not better. Spinning facts.
Yeah,
But
I
because
would say better, but maybe close.
Yeah, whatever. You're biased.
So are you. What do you mean, brother?
Exactly. but this is where Tommy's value comes into play. He's also he's a original third baseman. In college, he played a bunch of third base and learned how to be a utility man. So he's good third baseman, second baseman, shortstop. He has Willie McGee as his coach, who was a notoriously good outfielder for the Cardinals back in the 80s. He has taught him how to play the corner out spots, and in particular, center field, which he spent a good chunk of games in this year, which thought was eye-opening. But if you look at his defensive highlight reel and all the plays he has made this year, like notable plays. It's just, you're going to pick Ha-Sung Kim as utility guy. Yeah, I don't remember Ha-Sung Kim playing 6 different positions this year because he didn't. So you're going to make up this utility Gold Glove award and make it like such strict regulations. Like you have to play a certain amount of innings and a certain amount of positions, and you're not going to give it to the best qualified guy. Doesn't add up. So I'm telling you right now, if last year's winner, Brendan Donovan, was actually healthy all year, he would have been there. He would have been running, and it would have been one of the 2 Cardinals that have won it. And the only reason why this is upsetting with me, because Tommy Edman honestly also should have been a Gold Glove finalist at shortstop too. Only reason why he wasn't was because Mason Wynn took over him in August, and that's when Edman went strictly to this utility role. So, free Tommy Edman, put some respect on his name. This is not the first time they've done it. It's probably not going to be the last time that they do it, and Ha-Sung Kim shouldn't have won it. I'm cool with everything else. Nico and Dansby winning it, they deserved it. They've been superior this year, and I will give that to you. They are good. Switching Nico Horner over to second base is probably the best decision that Cubs front office has made in this decade. Just
okay. We won a World Series in the last 10 years. Let's not.
It's been 107 years since you last
won.
Okay,
I'll say within the last. I'll say within the last 5 years. In the last 5 years.
Whatever. You just gotta talk about 2016. You just gotta talk about 2016.
Yes, if you're gonna say last decade.
That's why only Kyle Hendricks is still on that roster. Because they tore it down. And even then, he's getting overpaid to be on the roster right now. Let's talk about it. Whatever. Case in point, I'm giving you some love. Now I'm not going to.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever. They were good. Who wanted Cabrine Hayes won on third base? About
Cabrine, yep.
He only wanted because Arenado stuck this year. Moreno is such a good framer. That was good. Wheeler has been known for the glove. That's good. Tatis is a little iffy, but they just love Tatis, so that's cool. And Brenton Doyle won. And as somebody who has watched a bunch of MLB highlights throughout the summer, and I got to watch everything Brenton Doyle was doing, he can't hit. Even in course, he can't hit. But man, oh man, his sprint speed in the outfield, it's like 95th percentile. He's nimble. He's fast. He can lay out for the ball. He's got a good vert. Like, I'm happy with that. That's my salvage. Tommy Edman
Okay.
didn't win, but Brent Doyle did.
And that's always
Put some
good.
respect on his name.
All right. I put respect on both those guys' names. I think Edmund had a good shot. I just think maybe Ha-Sung Kim had like just an unreal season. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked up the defensive metrics, but anyway, we still have a ton more to get through today. So let's go ahead. It's a little bit of a ML offseason roundup. We already got some new stuff here. We have the fact that there's a new president of baseball ops in Miami, and that is Mr. Peter Bendix. He was the Rays general manager. I still think the fact that they let Kim go was a travesty for Miami. I'm not sure if she found a new home yet, but
Not yet.
she should.
She will.
The way she built this Marlins roster is incredible. That pitching staff is ridiculously deep, and the hitting core is only going to get better.
So good.
Moving on, we have Clayton Kershaw. He just had surgery on his shoulder heading into free agency this year. Another injury and another surgery for Mr. Clayton Kershaw. So hopefully he'll get better, and we'll see where he goes in free agency. And then we'll go through a couple more rapid fire ones, and then we'll get to the bigger stuff. We talked about it a little bit before. Mark Hanna is going to Detroit. He was sent there for a minor league pitcher. I think that's a big get for Detroit. I think it's a solid get.
Huge get.
Gives some outfield depth, so you don't have to play Akil Baddoo every day.
Hey, whoa.
Akil Baddoo is not that good. Let's be honest here.
He is bad against lefties, but his energy and he has a good glove. I like that moves Baddoo to the fourth outfield spots, and that gives Cano either on left or right, and for a good 140 games or so. So I like the move. That's a great move. Let the Tigers compete.
Yeah, so they should be good. They finished third in the AL Central this year, a few games behind the Guardians. So we'll see what they're able to do. And then we were just talking about the Marlins. Josh Bell returns to Miami. He picked up his player option. The turnaround he had in his season from when he got traded to Cleveland to Miami is ridiculous. I think he had like 10 or 13 home runs all season for Cleveland. And then as soon as he goes to Miami, he has 10 or 13 in his final whatever games he had left that year. Crazy. So Josh Bell, and just to say, there's a lot of NL Central news. Like, I know we're Beer versus Ivy, but we like not plan like this much like Central Division news. We also have the fact that a former Cardinal, Mr. Michael Wacha, his 2-year, $32 million team option was declined by the San Diego Padres, probably in an effort to start shedding some payroll. They had to take out a loan for like $50 million to help substantiate for their payroll issues.
So that front office is in shambles, and I love to see it because the rumors coming out of San Diego right now and everything they're doing, it's so funny. It's so funny. But I love this because the Cardinals fan and me, and the Cardinals fan and a lot of people I'm seeing on Twitter, we want to see a reunion. That is a number. That is like a good.
That's a number 3.
That is a number 3.
That's like perfect number 3 pitcher, but behind potentially Sonny Gray and Aaron Nola. If you get those 3 guys,
or Glasnow, or
Snell.
It's not going to be Snell. We're not going to be in that running. It's going to be Nola and Gray are probably the most likely
because they're free agents.
Because they're free agents. Trade-wise, we have too much offensive depth. It'll be Glasnow, or it'll be Bieber, or maybe even a Dylan Cease that we trade after. It'll be one of those 3, or Paul Blackburn. We've been rumored of that. And honestly, as like a 4, I like that. But we have Steven Matz and Miles Malkus, so I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, I think Michaelis and Matz have earned the 4 and 5 spots.
Yes, they will be the 4 and 5.
So I think it's going to be the big 3. So if you get Wacha, I think if you get Wacha and Gray, And then I think Glasnow or Bieber is probably the better options to go with. I know Bieber was a little inconsistent this year. I really like Tyler Glasnow. I think he'd be really nice for the Cardinals.
He's made of glass, and that's the problem.
Yeah. So
because we've already been linked. There's been like a rumored package that if we give them like Alec Burleson and some mid-tier prospect, we can get Glasnow. I just hope we can sign him to an extension because of his health, because of the health risk. His value is tanked. So,
yep.
If I'm in the front office, I'm taking that in a heartbeat. Burley bombs can go hit Burley bombs and Tropicana Field.
Yep. Yeah.
Patience.
So, okay. So now that we've gotten some of those rapid fire ones out of the way, let's get to some of the big ones. And these are going to be steadily increasing by who we're talking about. Let's start first with the other team that resides in Chicago, and that is the White Sox. They have declined the team option on Tim Anderson. He will become a free agent per Jesse Rogers. The White Sox are looking for a refresh, a fresh start. Hence the reason they declined the option on Tim Anderson. And Tim Anderson had an awful season. He had about the same amount of home runs as Nick Madrigal, who the Cubs got for Craig Kimbrell. It was just a rough year for Tim Anderson. He got decked by Jose Ramirez. He got knocked out by Jose Ramirez. And just a bad season. And I feel bad for him. I hope he gets better. He had that whole thing earlier in the year where Josh Donaldson called him Jackie. That was a whole weird mess, and I feel bad for him that he had to deal with that. So shout out to Tim Anderson. Hopefully he find a better spot. And I also want to clown every single White Sox fan who said that Tim Anderson was at some point better than Javier Baez with the Cubs, Nico Horner, and Dansby Swanson.
Here he goes.
All of you guys told me, oh, Tim Anderson's so much better. He's so much better. Yeah, the dude can't field. This year he couldn't hit. So what is he actually doing? And I know the White Sox around Tim Anderson were bad defensively, but Tim Anderson did not help himself out in the slightest for that. So getting a change of scenery, Tim. I love you as a player. I think you're awesome. I think you would be a great early, maybe one spot leadoff hitter. I think maybe with a better team around you, you could even be a better defensive player if you move to second base. What's up, Cy? What's up? Did you see something?
I didn't see something, but I just had a thought about Tim Anderson. I have two thoughts.
Okay, go for it.
Thought number one. Hear me out.
Okay.
Tim Anderson to Miami.
Ooh.
Miami needs a shortstop. Joey Wendell's not cutting it.
Yeah.
Pair him with Arise next to him.
Ooh.
Because Tim Anderson simply forgot how to hit a home run. There's no other way to put it. He went a year straight without hitting one. And as somebody who has hit 2025 before, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I can see him going, get some of that Miami Vice vibe in him, pair him with Arise, pair him with Jakey Burgers, pair him with Josh Bell. That's not a bad infield.
And you got Jazz Chisholm. And I think the energy on that team with Jazz Chisholm and Tim Anderson would be amazing. Tim Anderson and Jazz Chisholm
would be a hilarious duo. But I get to do this once a show, and I got to do this now.
Okay.
You know what Tim Anderson needed to hit some more home runs?
Oh, boy. This is going to be
He needed some good old W energy. For those who don't know about W energy was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and non-tropics, including their patented neurofactor. It's got no calories, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors. It's a great energy drink. I'm seeing it now. in a non-sold out guaranteed rate field against the Kansas City Royals. Imagine if Tim Anderson's in that leadoff spot and hits a leadoff bomb because he had some good old W energy in him. But he didn't, and that's why he forgot to hit the long ball for a year, and that's why the White Sox are getting rid of him because they can't do that no more. But that's not the point. I think Tim Anderson needs some W energy. And if you use our code, Third Down Thursdays, on their website, you get a nice, clean 10% off. And that 10% is more home runs than Tim Anderson hit all year. Fun, just letting y'all know. So, thank you, W, as always, for sponsoring us. We love you. Jackson actually will probably have himself a little sample pack come his way pretty soon because I still owe you that. Haven't forgotten about it.
Do.
I still owe you it. So, thank you, W. We love you, W. Send me free drinks, please. It'll make my promos better. And thank you to Tim Anderson for sucking and giving me a fantastic transition.
All right.
We can continue now. I have my opportunity. And I try to make it. I gotta do it different every episode. So Tim Anderson needs W energy confirmed.
All right. First. Well, that was awesome. But you know what's unfortunately not awesome for just the vibes? Joey Votto could potentially no longer be with the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds declined his team option. I think he was going to get paid. Was it close, like over 20 million, or it was like 17 million? It was somewhere in that range. It's unfortunate. Like, as long as I've been alive and can remember watching baseball, Joey Votto has been with the Reds. One of the biggest like Cubs killers I can remember in my life. Ultimate respect for him. I think he's awesome. I think he has a great personality too and a great sense of humor. One of the most likable guys in all of baseball. To see him, did the Reds win like 1 or 2 playoff series during his prime? I don't think they ever won the NL Central either. I think they were always in as a wild card team. Mm-hmm. I think the teams that won a division were the Pirates and the Brewers and the Cardinals during that time when they had Votto, Johnny Cueto, and a bunch of those guys. So Brandon Phillips, love Brandon Phillips. Such a fun player.
Cozart.
Oh my God. Memory unlocked. But yeah, shout out to Joey Votto. Hopefully he comes back to the Reds on a much cheaper deal, so that way they can improve their team. Because I want to see Joey Votto finish his career with the Reds. I don't want to see him go like to the Dodgers or the Yankees. Like, that would just look wrong to me.
No, Joey Votto has spent 17 years with that organization. He's been this generation's Mr. Red. Like, and kudos to the front office, because the reason why they let him go, they came out with a press conference statement. He's not going to get the playing. He won't get the playing time that he should get because they have too much young talent on that team, especially in that infield with Spencer Steer, Noelvi Marte, Ellie De La Cruz, Christian Encarnacion-Strand, freaking Matt McLean. They have that. The Reds have shaped up their roster that they are young. They have a surplus of young infield talent in particular. So Votto simply didn't have a place to get the proper starting reps that he should get. If he decides that he wants to come back on, like you said, on a cheap deal to be that mentor and be like, realize, hey, I'm a bench piece now. I only play every couple or so days. I would love to see it, especially now that the Reds are finally competing again. But Joey Votto still got some stuff. Joey Votto still got some left in the tank. If he wants to go, I don't know what he's gonna do, man.
Yeah, and I was even gonna say if like the Reds are like, hey, we just can't find you the playing time that we think you deserve, but we don't want you to see you go anywhere else. I could see him retiring and becoming like their bench coach.
Yeah.
Or like a hitting coach or something like that, just to have him still be around. And obviously he wouldn't play. Maybe he's like a player coach in that sense. Like he goes back, like obviously not manager of the team, but goes to like that old school or like managers and coaches would actually play in the game. I don't know if that's still a thing that's allowed. But that would be really fun to see. Again, shout out to Joey Votto for an awesome career. Hopefully you get another opportunity with the Reds and finish your career with the Reds. But there is even still more to get to today because we already had the blockbuster news of Craig Counsell will now be the manager of the Chicago Cubs. But yesterday and the days prior, we've had some other news. The Cubs picked up the option on Yan Gomes. That was easily expected after the season he had. What's up?
That was a given.
Yeah. So he is back. It's a little bit of more of a surprise and a little bit more unknown. Kyle Hendricks is back on the Cubs picked up his option. And that might have something to do with the fact that in a big surprise, Marcus Stroman opted out of his player option with the Cubs. That would have paid him $21 million. He'll be a free agent, courtesy of John Hyman. I was surprised, and then obviously the Cubs also they declined, or Bellinger declined his part of the mutual option with the Cubs. So now he is a free agent. That was fully expected. Personally, I was surprised Stroman declined his option. I did not. I thought after the second half of the season he had with injuries and inconsistent play that he would take that year, get that $21 million and set himself up for a good contract for next year. But he's 32. He would have been 33 at that point. So I could see him getting a 3 to 4 year deal now based on the first half of his season where he was honestly in the Cy Young race. I don't want to say he was like number one, but he was in that top 3 to 4 mix.
No, you are completely right. I'm on your same page. I definitely was like, he's going to take the deal. He had a bad second half. But Marcus Stroman is doing the most typical Marcus Stroman thing. He's betting on himself. And that's why he's testing the waters again. And I got to respect it. He's probably going to get similar money that he got, if not more, because of how the starting pitching market is. Because now he's one of those more and more names. I see him resigning with Chicago, but I wouldn't be surprised if some team needing like a good number 2 or number 3 in the rotation says, "Here's an extra $5 million that the Cubs wouldn't give you. Sign with us."
Yeah, I could potentially say that. And again, we've been talking about them all day. The Baltimore Orioles, I think, would be a great spot for him. Maybe even the Houston Astros. Get an extra starter with some more experience.
No. His attitude with the Astros, that is toxic 101. I don't want to see that. If it happens, cool, but like I don't want to see that.
Okay, that's fair enough. But yeah, no, that's kind of where we're at with the Cubs right now. In terms of those guys, we'll see if Bellinger and Stroman return. Personally, again, with the Craig Counsell news, I think that puts in a much more likelihood the Cubs are going to spend. They're already spending $40 million on a manager for the next 5 years. So I could not see a world where they're not trying to spend to become a really good team. And then last tidbit before we get any last thoughts about Craig Counsell to the Cubs, because that's obviously we thought Stephen Vogt was going to be the big news, and then obviously all this stuff with Craig Counsell happened. But the last thing is that the Cubs are actively trying to get the All-Star game back to Wrigley Field. The earliest they could do it would be 2025 because 2024 is going to be in Texas and 2026 will be in Philadelphia. The Cubs haven't hosted an All-Star game since 1990. It's been that long. So the big issue is security on the streets and all that kind of stuff. They're working with Mayor Brandon Johnson in Chicago to see how they can all make that work for that next bid, because otherwise it wouldn't be until 2027 they could get a chance to host an All-Star game. So Yeah. Not much else to say on that. I think it would be awesome. I've never seen an All-Star game at Wrigley Field, so I think that'd be great.
I also think it would be awesome because we wouldn't just be going to the game. We would probably be credited being at the game. We would probably be on the field getting content and stuff. So I'm just gonna a little bit of manifestation, but I'm just saying right now, Beer vs. Ivy live from Wrigley Field for the 2025 MLB All-Star Game. Book it.
I'd love that. That'd be incredible. That'd be so awesome.
Put me in a suite or put me on the field before everything goes on. Let us do our thing for an hour. We can bring on someone big. We will bring on someone big. It's not an if, it's a when. Just wait.
Yes, yeah, we'll bring on 2024 Manager of the Year Craig Counsell. That's what we'll do. And the Cubs are first place in the NL Central at the All-Star break in 2025.
Okay. I do want to add my one tidbit about Craig Counsell. So
okay.
And this is notable. This is hilarious actually. Craig Counsell, 5 years, $40 million. Ozzie Albies' salary with the Atlanta Braves, 7 years, $35 million. Craig Counsell is getting paid more than Ozzie freaking Albies. What? That's crazy. That's crazy. For 2 less years, he's getting $5 million more than Ozzie Albies. What? That's bonkers.
Yeah. Again, $8 million a year for Craig Counsell.
For a manager. It's going to get him 2 more wins.
But hopefully with a better roster, it'll be even more.
Hopefully.
So I have also this. I just saw this from Jesse Rogers. The Cubs needed to ask permission to speak with Counsell before November 1st. They did not. So this all came together in the last few days after November 1st and is likely the most expensive managerial hire in MLB history. The fact that the Cubs were able to keep this under wraps, that they were going to go after Craig Counsell, because we saw right away that the Guardians had asked permission to speak with him. The Mets asked permission to speak with him. So it's nice tag, by the way. I just saw that.
Got you.
And it's crazy because David Ross was under contract for this year and had a club option for 2025 to be the manager. So honestly, it was the perfect time for the Cubs to get Craig Counsell because he obviously was not going to go to the Mets for probably competitive reasons. And then the Guardians get Stephen Vogt.
Definitely because of competitive reasons.
Yes. And then you got flexibility with David Ross where you're essentially only paying him for 1 more year. It's not like he had 2 or 3 years left and you have to pay that along with the most expensive manager contract in baseball history. So let's see. I just got some news for the Cardinals here. Did you see it too?
I got it.
Okay.
All the news is we're gonna interfere. All the news is officially the Cardinals have acquired right-handed relief pitcher Riley O'Brien from the Mariners. He was a PCL All-Star, and in his age 28-year-old season, he had 86 strikeouts and a 2.29 ERA in 55 innings for the Mariners AAA team. He was going to become a minor league free agent, but this is a hard-throwing right-handed sinker baller. His sinker gets up to about 98 miles an hour. Filthy secondary stuff. PCL All-Star, which is notable. And we're probably only going to give up cast considerations, our player to be named later. So the Mariners aren't getting Mariners aren't getting nothing much back. And I like it because the Cardinals did decline the player option / club option on Drew Verhagen, who he blows. So I'm happy to see him gone. And that means this O'Brien, he will most likely get some major league innings next year as a middle reliever. I like it. I like the savant metrics I've seen so far. I like the numbers I've seen so far. I'm a fan. And this is a minor move. Do not get me wrong. But this means that John Mozeliak is awake and active, and he's not doing what he normally does and sitting in the dark corner till January and then picking up whatever scraps left over. That's why this is notable. That's why this is good. Let's go, John Mozeliak. Let's go, Cardinals. Bring Sonny Gray home. Bring Aaron Nola home. Bring Yamamoto home. Trade. Give me a Glass now. Give me a Bieber. Give me Dylan Cease. Get Corbin Burns out of my division. Please.
Well,
I'll say it every week until it happens. Please.
Well, the only reason I was bringing that up is because now there's also a Cubs-related portion of this, because the Cardinals officially announced the trade. It was just for cash considerations, but the Cardinals have also claimed former Cubs infielder and outfielder Jared Young off of waivers. And so now the 40-man roster is completely full for the Cardinals at this point.
It won't be full for long. That's all I can. You know what this means? Because just a week ago, the Cardinals got rid of some depth pieces like Junior Quintero and Casey Lawrence and stuff like that. We've already got rid of some depth pieces off our 40-man. Now that the 40-man is full again, you know what this means? We have to trade people, our DFA people. You know what that means? Shane Bieber, Tyler Glasnow, or Dylan Cease, or Paul Blackburn will be in the Birds on the bats come April. Make it happen, St. Louis. Make me happy. I don't like right now that you're getting all this. Why did we pick up Jared Young? That's confusing.
Hey, he's good depth. He's a solid hitter. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, we don't really have
him. And that could be a trade away for Alec Burleson to another team, because I think Jared Young is a lefty and he plays infield in the outfield. So
Alec Burleson is slower and he's more of a power bat, but he can really only play the corner outfield and first base, and he does it subparly. At least Jared Young can play third base.
Yeah. So
I'm cool with that. Actually, thank you. Thank you for enlightening me. I'm okay with this. Only if it means Alec Burleson is gone. I like him. He was a very good college guy. We took him in the second round in, I believe, 2020 or 2021.
Mm-hmm.
But I know the Rays are interested in him. And he's a bona fide, this is what the Rays want in a player. He's one of their weird positional pieces that they can just flex around. Like, I'm seeing him and Harold Castro as the team's DHs next year. If this means I get a Tyler Glasnow or any one of their starting pitchers, that's cool. And also, last thing I want to note Cardinals-wise, because I noted it in the tweet I sent earlier about the Riley O'Brien pickup. If this is the first of hopefully 2 trades we make with Seattle. Mr. Brian Wu will hopefully be traded from Seattle over to St. Louis. I don't know why I forgot what team I'm talking about. It probably means we're going to give up Tommy Edman, and I'm probably going to be very sad, but that's okay. Because Brian Wu is sneaky. He's good. He's good. But that's all I have for Twitter Lives.
So there's some more stuff going on. This is from the Brewers beat reporter for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. So he's got cred. This came out about 30 minutes ago. The Brewers only offer Craig Counsell $5.5 million per season, which would have made him the highest paid manager. Everyone expected the Mets to throw more than $7 million per season or more at Counsell. No one expected the Cubs to do so. But, you're talking about all these pitchers you're going to get and all this kind of stuff. But, it's not going to matter because this man will haunt your every waking moment every time the Cubs and Cardinals play with his ingenious matchup planning and good manager stuff. I don't know what else to say about managers
Slim
besides
Reaper.
that, but yeah, this is it's already a wild off season, and we're only talking about managers.
I know. I hate that I'm still talking about Craig Counsell. So my last thing I'm going to say about Craig Counsell, because Buster only tweeted us out about a minute ago. The Cubs deal with Craig Counsell is for about what the A's total payroll was last season. MJ Hurley, what you doing? Is your team? Is that your team? Like, man, that's crazy.
Oh
Manager,
my god!
a scrawny white boy manager is getting paid more than your whole 40-man roster. Wow. That's actually not surprising, though. That's the thing. But just, wow.
Yeah. And just to also say, Arturas Karnisovas, Ryan Poles, Chris Getz, what's his name? Kyle Richardson. Pardon my language, and take fucking notes of what Jed Hoyer is doing. The Cubs have gone from a team that was middling to mediocre basically post 2020. That's what the team was. And he has already set this team up 2 years later to be back in the NL Central chase and contending for not a wild card spot, but an NL Central title, and actually competing to win the National League. Obviously, we have to wait and see what happens here with free agency. Is Cody Bellinger coming back? Is Marcus Stroman coming back? Are the Cubs actually going to trade for Juan Soto or Pete Alonso or both for some reason? But this is how you run a team. This is how you run, obviously, different sports, different ways of running a team. But this is how you turn a team around quickly, is what Jed Hoyer has been able to do by making smart, calculated decisions and taking advantage of what you've been given and what you have and developing players. If there's anything, that's the biggest, developing players. The Bulls have not been able to develop Ayo Dosunmu at all, Patrick Williams, Kobe White a little bit. I saw it. They barely developed Zach LaVine at all. The Bears. Justin Fields is not developing. Jaquan Brisker has honestly regressed from last year. Kyler Gordon is okay. And the one player you've actually been able to develop, you traded away in Roquan Smith. And then, the White Sox. Yeah, you got Luis Robert and some of these prospects, but you've squandered every opportunity since then. And the Blackhawks and Kyle Richardson, I'm not going to give him really any grief because he just drafted Connor Bedard, and this is his rookie season, so I'm not really going to say anything. But Chicago GMs and team presidents and whatever classification you are, take notes of Jed fucking Hoyer.
Amen. Last notable piece that I'm going to mention that's free agent wise. Mets right-handed pitcher Adam Ottavino is not exercising his $7.65 million player option. LOL Mets. That was your closer, and now he's gone. Yes, they get Edwin back, but Edwin ain't going to be happy about this team that he's going to have to play with next year. So, LOL Mets. Not even surprised.
Yep. So, but this is what some of these teams need to start improving. It's our favorite guy. It's Mr. Card Guy. That was a insane show today, and I can't believe we got to live through and go through the biggest manager hire in MLB history.
We just did that live. That's crazy. Like what?
Yeah. Like I was feeling bad, like as cutting off because of like the Stephen Vogt stuff and saying like, oh, Craig Counsell is going to make a decision and he's going to go to a team with a current manager, and then it blows up to, oh yeah, he's going to go manage.
Yeah,
Cubs.
The one team that we were like, oh, we don't think he'll go to the Cubs. We literally not even minutes before Rosenthal tweeted out, oh, David Ross isn't going to go anywhere. He could. It's possible, but we don't see it. 2 minutes later, Counsell Cubs confirmed.
Yeah.
I got more numbers about Craig Counsell. Oh, this is hilarious. All right.
So just Craig hold on before you go. At 12:10, we found out that Counsell was he wasn't gonna manage for the Brewers or Mets next year, and then when was it? 16 minutes later, we found out that he was going to Chicago. But go ahead.
16 minute span, we were talking about where we thought he was gonna go. All right, more A's this in. Craig Counsell's $8 million contract would have been the largest contract in the 2023 Oakland Athletics.
So the $8 million he's getting a season would have been the highest paid on the A's?
Yes. A manager is getting paid than the whole team. Clap it up for the Oakland A's, everybody. Clap it up for the Oakland A's.
We're making this we're making this a clip and sending it straight to MJ just to troll him at this point. But okay. I think that does it for this one. We'll be back next week. I'm not sure when exactly the official free agency period begins, but
today. Free agents can start signing as of today.
Oh, all right. So next week we will have a ton of free agent news.
Hopefully.
And obviously, hopefully there'll be the press conference for new Cubs manager Craig Counsell at some point in the upcoming week. So, but we will be right back here next Monday to break that all down, and we'll think of some other fun content stuff depending on what goes on. If there's a lot of free agency news, that'll be primarily the show, but we'll see going forward. So. Again, thank you to everyone who's watching. And Sai, do you have anything else before we get out of here?
Let's go Cardinals, baby! Let's bring these pitchers to St. Louis.
Well, you're definitely gonna need them. You're definitely gonna need them now. So, all right, have a great rest of your afternoon, everyone, and we'll be back next week.